What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Keeping Up with Cash. It's your host, Cash Money Morgan. What's up, gang? How you doing? I have literally tonight is the podcast episode of the century. It's the Morgan Tell All. Disclaimer, I am struggling with TMJ right now in this cheek in my mouth. So my teeth keep getting like caught up in my jaw. It hurts really bad. And my throat hurts because of it, which is so unfortunate when I have so much to say right now. It's also hard when like you talk all the time for your job. So pray for me because it's been a bit of a struggle bus, but as Kelly Clarkson says, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Okay. So I have literally so much to tell you guys. I just feel like there's a lot of tea to spill. Not tea to spill, but like imagine we haven't chatted in a year and we're getting coffee at, I don't know, Coffee Ethic or something. And we need to chat it up. We're going to chat it up. And you're like, oh my gosh, Morgan, wow, you live 17 million lives. Gotcha. Heard. I created like a little outline. But this is just my random thoughts. Like everything, like I think in the right-hand corner, I wrote like puppy. Like I don't even know what that means. So we're going to get into it because there's a lot to get into. So first and foremost, I do want to also say that I cannot share every detail of my life because one, privacy purposes, but two, obviously I just can't do that with certain things. So just be mindful that I'm telling you what I can in my own life. But also there's things that are still happening that you might not know. So just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there. Also, can we talk about like how cute I look for the podcast? Like, wow, I really dressed it up for you guys. Solo pods are my therapeutic thing, just like skateboarding for me. So yeah, like I love putting my little vintage 90s t-shirts on and chilling on my couch because that's the most Morgan Pagel thing ever. So as we get into it, I have some very, 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 very big news. Drum roll, please. Closest thing I have to a drum roll. I started my own business. Yeah. So I started my own business. It is Cash Creative. And I'll talk more about it on Instagram here soon. So if you listen to the podcast, consider yourself a featured exclusive. But I started my own marketing and social media business. I have a number of different services, a lot of custom quote stuff. Ultimately, I want to do your social media. I love creative directing. I love doing like so many different things really in that space. And so if you like my work, you like my style, you need help with your business, hit a girl up. So you're probably like, okay, Morgan, actually, what the heck? Like what? It's been kind of crazy because almost a year ago, I had started my job in digital marketing and I'm not a job hopper in any kind of way. That's not really my vibe. I'm more of a loyalist. But it was just in a position for me that I was like, I'm not loving this role. I'm really not. And there were certain things that I wasn't driving with, or like my mental health was like really taking a toll on some stuff. And so God just really created this like opening for me to start this business and just really providing like different clients for me and just different opportunities as well, which has just been like really, really cool to be a part of that and seeing that. And so a lot of times we go through these like difficult moments and these really difficult seasons and we don't understand the purpose. And we're like, why am I still in this? I'm so upset. I'm having the worst time. I'm not having fun, like whatever it is. And we want God to move instantly. And sometimes he's like, hey, that's just not the vibe yet. Like, I'm not ready for that yet. Be patient, pursue me, wait on me, and I have it all figured out. And so the situation of me leaving really, I felt like was perfect timing, but it wasn't my timing, which was fascinating. But it was really that push that I needed because I kept having all these guests on my podcast that really, we're talking about them going forward. We're talking about them pursuing their dream. We're talking about all of this. And I was just like always thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, when am I going to bet on myself? Because I know I can do this. It's just really scary. And so the situation, I really felt like God's like, hey, here's how we're going to do it. Here's how it's going to work out. This and this and this. Yeah. And so it really has been wild. I haven't really like rolled out like a website yet and all the things. Everything is cooking. I'm just not quite done with it yet. But that doesn't mean if you're not interested in what I can do, just reach out to me, because I already do have some clients and things like that. So that's where I'm at on that. Mentally, it was a wild time. If you know me, as a human, I'm not really good with change whatsoever. And so to have so many drastic changes, I was so happy about it because I was so excited for myself and what God was doing. But also it was just like emotionally exhausting. Like it felt like, okay, it's about time. Like this is great. But also emotionally, like I told my tight, close-knit friends, but I didn't really talk to anybody for a couple weeks besides like, you know, the crew where I live and like that kind of vibe, because I really needed to figure my crap out and rest and like genuinely rest. And I think that's hard sometimes if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, if you just have a lot of hobbies, like, I don't know, whatever your vibe is, but rest can be really difficult. Water break. Sorry, guys, just got to put up with it. Shout out to MJ. Yeah. You suck. Anyways, so it's been really crazy, but God is good. And I think one thing that people don't do, that at least for me, when I'm watching YouTube videos and stuff like that, I don't see the like unglamorous side and stuff like that. It's like, yay, you started a business. Like you're going out on your own. Like, woo. Let's talk about like the details that people don't talk about that are like influencers or YouTubers. Okay, let's talk about money. So the transition period of switching out to do this for myself has definitely been a transition. There's been a couple of weeks where I've just really had to be patient on God, and my bank accounts have just very much fluctuated, and I'm very confident and I know that I will bounce back. I'm a hard worker. It has just been like a very tough season because it was like podcast party, taxes, this transition, you know, starting out with different clients, figuring out my pricing, trademark fund. Oh my gosh, you guys, you want to talk about something crazy is despite all of this going on, all of a sudden around 6 months ago, I started the application process for my trademark, and I got all the way to the part where I had to pay the federal fee. So the federal fee for a trademark is $1,000. So at the pod party, we're like, hey, buy the merch. It'll support the trademark fund. It'll be a vibe. And everything was great. I get a message from the person I've been working with to help me with my application, like a third-party service. And she was like, yo, someone just applied for your mark. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm sorry, who's trying to come for keeping up with gas? Like, what? Bleach and tone? Like, what? And so, I don't know. I was like, legally, if someone else has the trademark and you keep using it, they can sue. Like, you're not allowed to use that likeness if someone else owns it, and they come for you or whatever it is. So I have every intention of the podcast just getting bigger, so that, you know, I'm thinking bigger minded. And I was like, okay, swipe my card, like swipe it. And, you know, in that transition period, it wiped out a lot of my savings. And then this person starts texting me really wacky, like really weird. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I guess I didn't like look at the reviews. Like, is this a scam? So I'm looking at the reviews, and some of it is like giving kind of shifty. And so I tried to call my bank and like cancel my card, but I couldn't even do that yet because it was at nighttime. So I'm going to my gym, and I remember just like feeling sick, like feeling physically ill, thinking about like, what if this was a scam? And I remember just really like driving there, and I was going to go to the hot tub, and then I forgot my swimsuit, so I had to drive all the way home. And I was trying to be grateful, even though I'm like really annoyed. And I just started praying hard because I was like, God, I'm not going to give this crap my time and energy, and I'm not going to allow this to have anxiety in my life. Because what do I do when I have anxiety? I sit on my couch and I put my head into the pillows, this beautiful couch, and I just mope. Like, I just freak out or I throw up. And so I was like, I'm not going to give this the energy when you've never failed me. I was like, you've never failed me. And so I kind of went to the gym. I went home. The next day I canceled my card. and I started this fraud process, but I didn't even know, like, the person that I was working with was just kind of giving me like really shifty vibes. Like, they didn't know what my invoice was. They didn't know all this stuff. So I was like, oh, but I'm still talking to them, right? I'm like, hey, like, what's the word? Did you figure it out? And then that day, she sends me over my serial numbers, and I look it up on uspto.gov, and there it is. Like, there's my mark. And it was wild. So I told my bank, I was like, forget about it, even though I have a new card, which is just probably good to do on routine. But it was wild. And I think the craziest part too was a friend of mine had blessed me with some money, just like out of the blue, blessed me with some money. And it equaled what I paid for my trademark, what I paid in taxes, and like a certain amount of money that I was needing, like literally to the dollar amount. And I mean, like, come on, God. I've never in my life had a financial blessing like that. You have things like people like grandparents help you out with stuff and blah, 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 and everyone's really amazing. But I've never in my life like had something come from literally nothing and then someone provides you an exact amount. And so this whole transition period, it's like, I'm never trying to get too preachy with it, but like, this is like the evidence of God in my life is it's like, God cares about the insects and the birds in the world. Why would you think he wouldn't care about you? And so this whole period, it's like, Morgan, it's okay. I don't need to have like this luxury things that I'm wanting. I'm like, God promises to provide, the clothes on my back and the food in my stomach. And that is enough. Like, I have been so taken care of in this transition season. Even though it's different than my typical structure and like my way of life, I'm taken care of and I'm content and I'm okay. And so it's been absolutely crazy, just kind of what God's been teaching me and how weird things will happen, but then it'll like provide me peace. So it's been a really weird season, you guys, just like very, very different. But I'm doing things that when I'm doing them in this job, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm meant to do. Like, this is what I'm good at. This is what I love. But I probably wouldn't have been ready if I hadn't had all this experience from my last role. So I am grateful for that. I am grateful for my time and experience. Very much so. So going into some more information on really what's been going on. The merch dropped, as you guys have seen. Sarah Crane, I love you so much, my queen. You've become one of my really great friends, and she works at Elwood, and she has just been a light in my life. Obviously, she was on the podcast, and she killed it. But we've been doing a lot of collaborations together. So we dropped the podcast merch with shout out to you guys because you guys have been blowing it up. I've had a lot of orders. My butt is out here like shipping things out, getting things done, doing things like. I'm like, let's cover Springfield in the pod merch, okay? Every restaurant, I want you guys to be wearing it. Like, everywhere you go, there should be pod merch somewhere. Like, that's the vibe. I love it. And I love it because it's really building a brand. And, some people listen to the pod, some people don't. And what they don't know is they're repping really a podcast that is about, love. It's about, Jesus and friendships and having fun and talking about hard issues and all the things and whatnot, and encouraging one another. And so whether or not they listen to that, they're representing that. And that makes my heart so happy that it's, they're representing this really what Jesus created. And I'm here for it. So awesome on that. I was so honored to be asked to be a part of Springstock. So the first ever Springstock that was at Mother's Brewing. It was a music festival, and they offered me, shout out to Justin. He's so great. So slay. They were like, hey, do you want a booth? I'm like, of course. Like, I'm always down for new things and things like that. We sold a couple pieces. I met a lot of people, which is just great for like brand awareness for the podcast. And I made a lot of new friends that I really am like, I'm praying for you. I want to learn more about you. I care about you. Let's get to know each other. So it was really fun environment. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot too that we did a podcast photo shoot and video shoot, which we have not released yet because I'm just so excited to see all the final things. J-Bands in tow, CJ. the best video editor and friend in the world.
Solo, I'm Morgan's new editor. Come on, Morgan.
You're amazing, CJ. Feel free to clip that and put it in one of the TikToks. But they literally killed it. Like, I'm so excited to see how it turns out, and I cannot wait to share it with everybody. It's going to be so amazing. The vibe really of the shoot, and you'll see it too in the videos. I don't want to give too much of it away, but I wanted to create something that, like, we did the merch release. You understand what the merch is. You get it. That's great. I wanted to do a video that shows how fun the podcast is and the vibe of life we're trying to curate. Really, it's like you're keeping up with Cash. Like, we're hanging out with our friends. We're enjoying life. We're live, laugh, loving. Like, we're not taking things too seriously. Like, we're just going to go out and have fun. That was the vibe, was literally just having fun. And I think not enough people do that anymore, where they think like, oh, that's weird. Oh, whatever. And now I'm going to transition into, I really feel like you should always be having fun for the rest of your life. And so because of that, I am getting fake married.
I said, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I know you guys are like, Morgan, you're so crazy. So me and the crew at the restaurant I live above, we kick it all the time. All the time we kick it, all the time. It's like, they're all my friends now. I'm in a friend group, you guys. Woo! And so one day I was like, yo, you guys, Alex Earl had a fake wedding, like in her little frat sorority in college. Like, we always hang out. Like, how fun would it be if we had a fake wedding? And I was like, I mean, I could be the bride if you guys want. Like, I want to get married someday in Greece. So I probably won't have like a wedding in America besides a big reception someday. But I have not, obviously, like, I don't have a man right now. Like, who knows when that will be? So then they were like, oh my gosh, yes, like, you should get married to this guy. And then we'll all be like your bridesmaids and groomsmen. And then we'll get married at this park. We'll have a reception. So-and-so will bake the cake. So-and-so walking down the aisle. We have a photographer. Like, we all of a sudden went from this pipe dream to one person being like, I'm down. And now we have an elaborate wedding planned. And we did it like in 3 days. Like, what? I don't know. I'm not coming at any of you like bridal shotties, but there is a way to do this on a budget. Like, that's all I'm going to say. I mean, clearly I don't want to stick to a budget someday. But what I have discovered is you can plan a wedding for under $100. Like, wow. Okay. I am in no way, also disclaimer, making fun of marriages or anything like that. I think marriage is very sacred. I do want to get married someday. But in this current stage of life, it's like I'm surrounded by amazing people that I don't know if they'll all be at my wedding someday. And I think it'll just be like a really iconic core memory for us. And I was talking to my accountability partner, and she was like, honestly, it's just kind of like you're like playing house, like you're playing this fake wedding vibe. But I don't know. I think it's just going to be really iconic and a fun story for the pod. But I think it's just going to be like one of the best nights of my life, to be honest. So, and then we're going to sing karaoke, and it's going to be so fun. I don't know. I think it's just kind of just the right amount of weird that I love it. So that's going to be wild. Taking a water break. Quick pause. Oh, no. Really good stuff. Okay, let's get into another dating life updates. This just feels like a really big recap of I don't know. I hope you guys are like really vibing out with the pod episode. I hope you're rocking with this. So dating life, nothing really new. I think, especially like with starting my own business, one thing that has been difficult for me in the thought process is, you guys all know my thoughts and desires is like, Morgan belongs on a beach. Morgan would love to go to Florida, Australia, or anywhere. Like, these are the things Morgan wants. But I've really been in conversations with God and arguments and frustrations where it's like, that might not be what he has for me. Or right now he's like, dude, I have you in Springfield. I need you in Springfield. I have people I want you to like witness to, be kind to, love on in Springfield. I got your podcast stuff in Springfield. I can't have you leave right now. Like, it's just not what I have for you right now. And that's where I'm really in this season of learning how to surrender my life to God. I mean, the Bible, we look in, I believe it's Luke, where it says, take up your cross and follow me. We literally had a Connect Girl hangout and we made friendship bracelets. This is like the modest girl tattoo, okay? Because when things move in my life, I get it tatted on me, so I see it every day. I look at this tattoo and I'm like, okay, this is when I rededicated my life to God my senior year of high school. Don't get it twisted, Morgan. Like, this cross tattoo is very just like big on me. I'm like, I wear who I am everywhere I go. I don't switch up. I'm the same person. Like, I got a few other ones too on my body that just like are really definitive for me in my life. And so I'm wearing this in my bracelet. This is my fake wedding ring. I'm wearing my bracelet and it says, take up your cross, because one of the biggest things that Christians struggle with, and even non-Christians, but really Christians, is it's like we want to have our own version of a relationship with God. We are Christians and we have it in our bio, where, it's like, he greater than sign, me, all these things. But then we do the things that we want to do. Okay, God, I love you, but I'm going to go do this and date this person, and I'm going to go do blah, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And then I'll see you on Sunday, bro. And it's just kind of like, label it correctly, queen. You're a fan, not a follower, okay? You've heard of the series, you don't read it, right? Like, you're interested, but you're not a member. And that's where God's really been stirring in my own faith. And that's what in our small group, we'll talk about things. And I make it so clear. I'm like, you guys, I'm talking about this, but I am not this thought leader expert. I'm struggling with this right now. I'm just the messenger, bro. And they talked about it in church too. And it's really hard. We grow up in a world where we're taught, if you don't like something, leave it. If you don't do this, change it, which an element of that is true. But when it comes to serving Jesus, when it comes to like being in that space, it really is it him on the throne or is it me? Is he number one or I am? And that's going to define all your actions in life. And that's why every single day as Christians, as people who love Jesus and have a relationship, we have to deny ourselves and take up our cross every single day. And we're talking about it, like, no one has to teach you how to sin, right? But we often have to be taught how to obey. So, sorry, not trying to be at all preachy with it, but like, I'm struggling with this because sometimes it feels like everything is like starting to work out for me. And like, I don't know, like dating kind of, I'm like, like this person's really cool. I like hanging out with them, but like, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know. I think just kind of surrendering my whole life to God and like, what if he has me in Springfield forever? Like, what if I'm supposed to end up alone? I don't know. But like learning to be okay with anything, because with God, I have everything, is something that I'm really learning right now and something I need to be stronger in. But that's where I'm at, and that's where I want to progress and be, because even when I get a boyfriend and I get married and like whatever the vibes may be, I want us to both love Jesus more than we love each other. And then, we love each other, and it's so great because our foundation is in Jesus. So that's that vibe. Period. If I'm locked in with a dude, like if I'm really rocking with a guy, I'm not going to talk about you on the podcast. Like, don't feel some type of way. Someone the other day asked me, they were like, do you ever get weird? Like if a crush of yours or someone like listens to your episodes? And I was like, they do. Like, I've had multiple different guys message me in the like months ago because I don't know, like I was saying certain stuff and then they're trying to slide, which I appreciated, but they weren't really my type. But I had to be more honest and just like, hey, dude, sorry, I'm just like not interested, because they listen to the podcast. And so I don't know, it's like anything else. Like if we're going to have a podcast, just like you got to expect like musical artists, sing about their exes. We go on the podcast. Like, I don't know. I mean, I keep it straight laced, but I don't know. A story is a story. Anyways, what I'm saying is like, if I'm actually rocking with you and like we have a good vibe, don't worry. Like I'm not going to talk about you, but I will talk about the things that weren't a good vibe. So I'll talk about two different stories that happened not somewhat recently. A few weeks ago, this guy asked me out at my gym, which people kind of like balk at and they're like, ew, gross. I don't know. I kind of appreciated it because, I don't really know where to meet people anymore because in this city, I do know in regular life, but in this city, I feel like I just like know everybody, which I know I don't, but I feel like I do. So anyways, this guy, I wasn't super attracted to him, but he came up to me and he like asked me out and it was in the middle of like gym rush hour. So I was like, okay, like he's confident. And then, we started to chat a bit and I was telling like a coworker friend of mine, I was like, I can't find this man on any social media. And then she took my phone and immediately she finds him. And he's the son of someone I knew like many years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to be a part of this family. Like I just do not like this. I'm not into this vibe. No good. Not going to date him. And you can think whatever you want. You don't know any of the facts. You don't know any of the specifics. But like, just imagine someone in your world that you were like, oh, there's a lot of red flags in this situation. That's what this was. And so I was like, no. And then I'm bad because I'm like, well, it's been a while since I've probably gone on like a government official date. Like, I don't know. Like, let me just go for the plot, which that's the podcast host in me. And so I told him like I only had a few hours free on this one day. And he suggested that we go hammocking as a first date, which is already a red flag because like hammocking is something you do like when you're friends or you've been on like 3 dates, I feel like. Because in my mind, I'm like, first of all, I don't even know if I like you. You haven't bought me anything, which I'm not saying you need to, but like as a first date, like typically if you're asking me on it, you would want to like woo me. And then third of all, like, are we just going to share a hammock? Like, you're just trying to, like, hammocks are, like, not that big. And so that's why you wait till you're more locked in because then you're like, oh, whatever. But I'm like, don't touch me if I don't like you. Like, I don't know. So I meet up with him and we go on a walk and we start chatting. And, oh, my gosh, like, I seen what I needed to see. The conversation was a whopping red flag. And then I sat with him in the hammock and it was even more of a red flag. And he was like, you trying to hang out later? And I was like, I'm never trying to see you again, bro. I didn't say that, but like in so many words, it was crazy. It was weird. And sometimes it's like, why did this kind of stuff happen to me? Like, but anyways, I mean, I'm glad for the experience because I think one frustrating thing is I don't really mind being single in life. I just hate when like nothing happens and I'm like bored because I'm making like good decisions for myself. And so honestly, like going on a really crappy date was just kind of fun, to be honest, was just to like be like, okay, like let's never chat again. I don't know. And then I've got to hang out with some other people that like revived my life in terms of like just having fun, which was cool. So Springstock, I met a lot of people that actually go to my gyms and they were super cool. So shout out to you guys. Yeah, that was fun meeting you guys. I don't know. I think there's really cool people in my life. There's people that I like to get to know more, but ultimately as well, I am just trying to grow my relationship with Jesus. And it's a very hard thing when you're not trying to settle in any way. So that's real and that's where I'm at. And you're going to have a lot of different toads and frogs or whatever along the way. But honestly, like I'm in an era where I'm like healed and having fun and vibes. And it's like that Michael Scott episode. I am ready to get hurt again. No, not in like a crazy way, but like I'm ready to go on like bad dates, I guess, or good dates or medium dates. I don't know, but not from that one guy though. Oh my gosh, stay away from me, both of you. Whatever. So yeah. But a lot of other things happening as well. My birthday is this upcoming weekend, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to be 25. Those are like both my emotions, both of those. 25 is really exciting. And it's funny how the enemy always like tries to work to steal, kill, and destroy because here are some lies that I feel like have been fed to me in my brain. It's like, oh, you're 25 and you haven't been in a really good, like, healthy relationship yet. Oh, you're 25, like, you haven't traveled the world yet. Oh, you're 25, you're blah, 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 blah. But what I've been taught is you have to change your perspective. Oh, you're 25 and you've had a podcast for over 2 years. Oh, you're 25 and your faith with God is stronger than ever. Oh, you're 25 and you just started your own business. Oh, you're 25 and your car is paid off and you live alone and you have and you're getting fake married. Woo! Woo, woo, woo! Oh my gosh, I'm so lame. I'm just kidding. You have to change your perspective because you can often be your worst enemy, or the enemy will come at your deepest insecurities. My accountability partner and I were chatting. This is a TMJ that's like literally ruined my life today. We were chatting and I was talking to her about some stuff and I obviously was frustrated. And she's like, Morgan, you know, this specific thing is your biggest insecurity. She's like, we always talk about it when we have our one-on-ones. You know, this insecurity takes up so much brain capacity for you. You're so concerned about it. You're so worried about this one thing. And it's so much more important to you than often Jesus, or you're so worried about it that you don't even surrender it. It's distracting. It's a waste of time and energy. And it's something that's occupying your mind. And it was really hard to hear. And I remember arguing with her and I basically said the words out loud too. I was like, I'm so content in everything but this. You know, is God enough if I feel like this area isn't filled for me? And that's when I said the words out loud, I heard them for the first time, because I was like, oh my gosh, there it is. You know, there's me saying, is God enough for me? When he's more than enough. I'm making it about the things that I want and the things that I feel that I'm lacking. When I look at my whole life, the past 6 months with my job and starting this business, and the moments where I have gotten on my knees and cried and thrown up and said, Jesus, please save me. And then he brought me out of this and provided me this red carpet of, all right, Morgan, it's your time to shine. You're out here now. I'm providing this. I'm providing that. I'm providing this. Like things that do not make sense. Like people will slide in and ask me about the podcast, and now all of a sudden we're talking about potentially being a client. Like that's how much God is working in and around my life. And so the thing about it is, it's like God's always been enough. It's when I get my eyes off the prize that all of a sudden they're back on me and I'm finding the holes and I'm asking, maybe it's not enough, because maybe I haven't been spending enough time with God, asking me what he does want me to do with my free time. And so it's not easy. Like I'm not sitting here saying this should be an easy feat, but it's something that feels so basic, but is so crucial. And it's just been this huge like billboard in my life. And it's been wild. So, it's been crazy. One thing I will say too is I have an amazing support system. I mean, I want to really give a big thank you to everyone at the restaurant that I work at, because they've been by my side in every single moment of this transition, whether it's like reminding me to have fun or having my back or buying merch, my parents, my best friends, you know, everyone around me. God obviously like has just been so good and there and kind. And it's really just been a season where I've just been feeling covered in love, never feeling like I have no one to go to or anything like that. I know I could call up literally 10 different people and I could stay on their couch, or they would help me out or whatever it may be. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Just a few housekeeping things. Quiet on Set was released on HBO, which is about the child actors of Nickelodeon. It's a very hard watch. You know, as someone who is in a human trafficking awareness group, it's gutting to see so many people that I watched growing up go through so many hard, difficult, awful sexual things. And some of them, when I watched some of the episodes, I had a couple of nightmares, and all I did was just like pray for these people. And so I think it's so important as humans, as Christians, as people in life, to help protect children, to speak up when we see something wrong, to look for warning signs, to help educate, to be the gap that someone may need, whatever it may be. We need to help be the change in this world to help end this cycle of these kinds of things and this kinds of evil. So it was very hard to watch, and I don't know if anyone else has really seen it or your group has. But I hope that with this launch of it, that it just continues to stir the conversation of the things that we need to do and how we need to help and really be better as humans, as people, in loving and helping these kids and helping to have these wrong people out of these leadership roles. It's just wild. Yeah, so sorry it's been kind of a deep emotional pod. I don't feel like I have tons of crazy fun stuff to talk about. I mean, I talked about like the crazy dating, I talked about my fake wedding, my business. I am trying to learn how to ollie, skateboard wise. It is really hard for me because I ride kind of goofy, and I was I was riding with Eva, and she was like, you probably would ride better this way because this is your dominant foot. But when you're riding the skateboard and you want to just like seamlessly get into an ollie, I have to ride it this opposite way. So I don't know. Learning how to do an ollie is going to take like literally 4 years for me. But I know someday I'm going to do it and it's going to be awesome. And then I'll probably like bust my chin, and that will suck. But at least I know how to ride an ollie. So that'll be crazy. A few other updates I would say is I am planning on having a pop-up here downtown soon. There will be lots of updates on my Instagram. I want to just curate environments that are fun. I want to curate like moments and activities and people. And I think sometimes I had a conversation with someone and it was like, it sometimes feels like in Missouri or in the Midwest, there's two extremes. Like you're either super Christian or you're super anti-God, and maybe you're really like artsy and chill, and this way you're more like basic. And I just don't like that. Like, I'm like, I can be a Christian and also be artsy and love people. Like some people can be very extremist on things, but I always just try to think like, if Jesus was here, who would he talk to? How would he talk to them? How would he listen to them? And how would he love them? Like obviously what the Bible says is true, you know, but also like how we speak and how we act and move is really, really important as well. And so I don't know, I want to, curate moments and events that allow people to meet each other and have Christians and have arts and have this and have that and have people make new friends and collaborate and do things. And I don't know, I went to one of the film nights at Elwood and it was just so amazing. And I'm going to have one of their guests on the pod, which will be so fun. But there's just so much beauty that is happening. And I love that more like art and culture and stuff like that is coming to Springfield and it's blowing up and it's doing big things. And I am excited to be a part of that. So I do understand, like, if it would have been my way and I would have left Springfield in December or something, I think I would have missed out on a lot of things or been struggling in other ways. And so I'm grateful that God has me here, despite little things that I may be like, yo, I'm struggling with this and I'm not content about that or whatever it is. Like every day it's like, help me see things the way you see them. Help me understand things the way that you understand them. And people that I've been praying for a year, like are now being like, hey, can I come with you to this? Or like I want to learn more about that. Or I respect you for this. And that's a win, baby. Like a win is a freaking win. Also, I've never done a March Madness bracket before because I didn't really care. But this year, some of my clients, coworkers, or whatever it is, were like, hey, let's just do one for free. Let's just do one for fun. And I did it so unhinged. I did some research online and I picked my winner and then I worked backwards. And the bracket was like really tiny and I'm a little dyslexic. And so literally the teams that I had playing against each other, like in round 2 and 3, it like didn't even actually play against each other because I just like messed it up. But I have UConn going all the way, and I don't want to screw anything up, but I think they got it. And if I do get it right, then my coworker has to buy me lunch, which I'm really excited about that because I would love a free lunch. But yeah, I think UConn all the way. That would be really sick. That would be really fun. I think that's everything. I know there's been a lot of changes. I'm a big travel girly, but right now I'm on the budget mindset. I've met a lot of amazing people. And I think what's so crazy is no matter like what changes you go through in life, it's like you will survive. You will be okay. Sometimes you go through this fire, right? And you're like, I don't see the way out. I'll never heal from this, like losing this friend or whatever it is. And it's like, Shawty, like you will be okay. Okay. You're just like going through it right now. And I'm doing so good. So if, in case you're wondering like how I am, I'm so good. And I'm so grateful that I can wholeheartedly say and believe that. I am happy and I am good. Thank you guys so much for being the best listeners and support team and friends ever. Thank you for buying the merch and believing in me and hyping me up when there are moments I'm just like you, bro. Like I'm tired and I want to watch The Office and I'm trying to chill, like, and you know, the grind. But when we encourage one another, when I'm like talking to my vintage friends and I'm like, keep this going when they're down, and they tell me, keep this going. And I tell my art friends, keep this going. And they tell my photography friend, keep this going. Like whatever your passion is, whatever your gift is, whatever God called you to, keep it going. Like, you know, we have to encourage one another. We have to build one another up. Iron sharpens iron. That's how we get better. And I'm really, really grateful for the people in my life and the ones that are like really just so kind and caring and helpful and building each other up. Despite anything that can happen. And I want you to know too, like if you ever want to reach out to me and chat and talk about like, Morgan, you know, I have questions, or like I want to learn more about how you dealt with the season, or like, I don't know. I mean, whatever. Like I'm always trying to pray for like everybody, you know, if that's what you need or whatever the vibe is. You're going to be okay. I'm going to be 25 on Friday. Which is the day that this podcast will drop. It will be my birthday. That's so wild. What crazy. I'm going to be 25 and the frontal lobe will be locked in, and I can tell the difference because when you're younger, you're kind of like, oh, like competitive, like, oh, girls. Oh. I can't speak for every woman in the world. Okay. I can only speak for myself, but at 25, you just don't care. You're like, if a man wants me, he's going to make it clear. Like, I don't need to compete. Like whatever, bro. Like you're just really, I think you're just way more like chill vibes, and it's gonna be okay and it's gonna be fine. So thank you guys so much. I'm excited for what this next stage of life is gonna look like. It's already cooking. There's already like things stirring and things happening, and I'm excited because obviously God is ruler over all, but in terms of like this job, you know, it's like he is the car and I'm in the driver's seat. I'm like blindfolded. I don't know where I'm going and I'm bad at directions and I probably have no oil in my car, but he's like, I got you. Like, I got you. So, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Okay. So as we end every pod, as we do, I'm going to just go ahead and share, I guess, a favorite quote, favorite song, and what I want my legacy to be, which is going to be harder for me because I didn't even think about it, and my phone is over there. My favorite song currently at this moment, gosh, I feel like I just had one pretty locked in. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Well, okay, this is, let's see here. I love anything Arctic Monkeys, but for my fake wedding, we'll probably sing karaoke afterward. And our karaoke song is Flowers by Miley Cyrus. So I guess I'll just go with that. We'll just go with that for now. Quote, I know I said it earlier, but like really I've been feeling like Kelly Clarkson, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Pressure creates diamonds. And I think I'm in things that I'm doing now where I understand why I had to go through such difficult moments, because now I know in that area what the heck to do. In legacy, it's pretty much the same as I think I always say, is like when people encounter me, I hope they encounter like the love of Jesus. Like I want to try to be like Jesus around them. And also I want to just like when someone sees me, I want them to be like, wow, that girl is really joyful, enthusiastic. She makes people feel seen, heard, and loved. And she has a lot of fun. Like that chick is crazy and she has fun. Like that's what I want to remember. And she's like a really great ping pong player. Like, wow, that chick, she's got a left arm on her. Like she's pretty out here. So I don't know. But I love you guys so much. They're down the line right now. Obviously, we have like a lot of merch pieces. I'm going to do pop-ups and I'm going to sell a lot more merch. But down the line, I'm going to do one merch item that's very, very custom and slay and sick. And I already know you're going to want it. So I don't know. Just keep on keeping on. Remember that you are built with so much purpose. And remember that like the feelings of feeling frustrated, the feelings of, when you're discontent in an area, that's normal. It's very common. What should not be normal is being so okay with it. Is you need someone to call it out in you and say, hey, fill yourself with the truth from the word instead of keep thinking so much about the things that you don't have or the things you wish you had. Like, what are you supposed to be doing in this season? What do you have to offer? Like, who can you help? Who can you be a light to? Like, what hobby can you learn? Like, I don't know. Like, the time that you have right now is so useful. Like, make use of it, So that's all I got, you guys. I love you. Once I have enough bands in the bank account, I'm going to get an electric guitar and I'm going to start learning how to play it. And I'm going to play it really good. So that's what's going to happen down the line. But I love you guys. Keep on keeping on. Keep slaying. And remember to always keep on keeping up with cash. Okay. Bye.